You've been preparing for 18 years to get to the start line.
And the knowledge of nutrition
Exactly.
and stuff that I had like early on, like for my first races, I knew how much carbs I need to have so I'm not depleted.
Yeah.
I remember before my first half marathon, for about 15 runs, I put a blood glucose monitor on and I had gels to figure out if I'm over fueling or under fueling and at what paces, because at different paces my carb requirements would go up and down. So I would see that data. That data works for me. That data might not work for you. When you work with your coach also, he doesn't have a magic formula. He will say we start with this and how you feel. Like he'll help you experiment.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to get up at 5 o'clock to run, especially in Bombay, Delhi, where, like India actually, where the weather's not on our side, but they don't sleep. And if you're not sleeping, it's a recipe for disaster. In 1 week, I have the VDHM. And I was like, nahi karenge. And just 3 days out, I decided, main nahi karunga.
Hello everyone, this is Vikas and you are on Run with Fitpage. Of late, we have been hosting guests who are from India and are relatable to us, meaning they are professionals like you and I who picked up the sport of running out of passion and they have done this craft really well. And so this becomes quite inspiring for us, isn't it? It becomes inspiring for us to know of their story, how they went on to what they did. And one such person is Joel Pinto. He's also the founder of Knox Studio. But what's important for you to see is the kind of journey that he has had, from starting his professional journey as a civil engineer to growing to do a bunch of things that he has done so far. You'll see from the conversation how he prioritizes fitness, how he prioritizes community and takes care of them, appreciates how inclusive the running community is that takes care of him, and everything around this ecosystem that makes running so special. Let's welcome Joel to the show and learn all about his running journey and become a better runner, hopefully by the end of it. Let's go. Joel, welcome to Run with Fitpage. It's our weekly show and we discuss all things running. We'll discuss some of it today as well. It's a great pleasure to have you.
It's my pleasure to be here.
It's been a long time coming. We planned to record it earlier, we couldn't make it, but finally we are here. And you have had a journey that's worth being told to runners. You are also a popular one. So a lot of runners, aspiring runners already know of you and they will get to know a bit more by the end of it. Before we get to running or anything else, let's walk through who are you as a person, and then we'll get into how you got into fitness before we got to running.
I'd like to say I like to get people together around fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do through my personal training studio called Knox and the run club, the Knox Run Club. And I co-founded a nutraceutical company sometime back called Nack. So that is all around fitness.
So Knox and Nack.
Yes.
Awesome. Seems like you are almost marrying your passion with profession.
Yes.
Something similar to what I started a few years ago when we started Fitpage. Let's start with how your orientation, how your affection to fitness started. Were you a sports person? Were you very active since your childhood? How was it?
So I wasn't really active as a child. I never played any sport during school. I went to a convent school. So running was punishment for us. Like if we did something wrong or bad, like we had to run around the field, right?
Yeah.
So running was something that I didn't really like to do. I was into a lot of extracurriculars, like making presentations and stuff for inter-school competitions, computer competitions, like economic symposiums and that kind of stuff. So I would always find my way to get out of physical training and physical education classes. This continued till, say, first year of college, where I'd come back for my vacation and my dad told me that if I continue this way, I'm going to have a lot of issues because my family has a history of bone degenerative diseases and my dad started feeling it in his 40s. And he was like, if you continue this way, like by 30s, you'll have some or the other bone degenerative diseases. And I wasn't even sort of eating well. I had no concept of what eating well means. I would eat like whatever, like standard Indian meals, like parathas for breakfast, that kind of stuff. Fortunately, what happened was my dad used to go to a gym, like which wasn't like open for public. It was inside a hospital, and the physiotherapist would always be around there. So he asked me to come to the gym, And imagine a first year engineering going student come on vacation, has to wake up at 5 o'clock, right? So I didn't wake up. So he came, woke me up 2-3 times. I didn't wake up. Second day, same thing happened. Third day, out of respect for my dad, I said, I'll go. So he woke me up and then he left and I ran behind him because I was like getting ready. And I reached down and I didn't even realize where the gym was. Right? So I didn't even ask dad ki kaun se gym jate ho aap. I came back, I told dad, "Ab kaun se gym jate ho?" I tried to follow you, but I didn't know where to come, or I didn't have my phone and all on me. I just ran in the morning. Then he told me, I think 6th or 7th day, I finally made it.
Okay.
Then I started going to the gym regularly, also because I've always been a nerd. And fortunately, I had those physiotherapists around who gave me the right guidance, like why I need to do this. Like they put me on, like for upper body stuff, they asked me to do body weight stuff first, like learn how to do the pull-up, the push-ups and all of that stuff.
Sure.
Like bench dips and all of that. Whereas for the lower body, they were like, you need to hit weights. Like body weight is not enough. So there I built a solid foundation. And I went back to my college and joined a gym there. And I went to Manipal University, where around my second year of college, they opened a really nice gym. It was like a 24,000 square feet gym with techno gym equipment.
Wow.
It was like glass on 3 sides overlooking the valley. They had like, I think possibly a 200-meter track on the mezzanine floor with like proper, like the running rubber. I never ran on it, probably I walked on it because I was just doing the gym stuff. And I started working out and I built a decent physique. Like I had like abs in 2008 and
wow,
a lot of people didn't have abs that time. And I sort of started getting attention because of that. And I gained some confidence because of that. And I think that became a part of my identity and I continued training.
Sure. And then did you go to work professionally later before you came to start Knox?
Yeah, so I did a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
So I did civil engineering from Manipal and I started working with this like a real estate company who built townships and stuff. So I was working in, they were trying to build their corporate office. So I was handling 2 towers of theirs. While doing this, I was trying to study for the CDS because I wanted to get into the army.
Okay.
And I did clear the written and I got conferenced out. And then basically I told my dad I wanted to do this. Now this hasn't happened. I don't know what to do. And to be honest, civil engineering is something that I can't see myself doing because I found myself not showering to work because you reach there and in 5 minutes you're covered in dust. Right? So I would shower at the morning, felt no use and stopped wearing nice clothes because where do I wear nice clothes? They're all going to get dirty. And I'm like, I can't live like this. He said he's into manufacturing. So he said, मेरे को सिर्फ manufacturing आती है. So I started working with a friend of his in injection molding.
Okay.
While doing this, I did my MBA, a correspondence MBA, and luckily a lot of stuff that I was learning was the same that I was working at, being at a manufacturing firm because all this, like a lot of MBA stuff comes from manufacturing, you know, all the Japanese methodologies, like Kaizen, Pokayuki, everything, you're following everything. So much so that I stopped going to classes also. I'm like just wasting time, right? I'm seeing it in real life. So I did that for some time. And while I was pretty good at what I was doing, I was handling a lot of parts that would go into OEMs like Subros, Maruti, even home appliances like LG and stuff. And I understood how those things work, what just-in-time was. But other companies are working just-in-time, so you have no time because everything has to reach on their time, right? So again, life got very hectic. And my exposure to the outside world became less. And I started stammering in English because I was talking to labor most of the day. And my closest friends at that time, they were starting or reviving a milkshake chain called Keventer's.
Okay.
So I also didn't have a lot of time. They were also busy. So I ended up sitting through their meetings to meet them and hang out with them. Like choosing what logo they're going to use, what recipes. So I was like, I'm fine. Like I just want to spend time with you. It doesn't matter like what we are doing at the end of the day because I didn't really enjoy drinking and all of that at that point of time any which ways. They opened one store and it did well. And when they were expanding, they were looking out for people and they had a CEO. And I said, just give me the job profiles you're looking at. And then one caught my eye because it was to do with construction of new stores. And I found myself switching careers from manufacturing to QSRs. And luckily for me, that company grew really fast. And because of that, my role expanded. So I was reporting directly to the CEO. Now just from construction, I was looking at everything till a store opens. So that means like choosing the right location, making sure the contracts are placed, licenses, and you understand like licensing across the country. Like every state is like different.
Yeah.
So I did that for about almost 6 years, and life got like hectic in a good way. I was traveling 20 days in a month, but I would still not miss my gym sessions. I would still like go to a gym wherever I am. So I would joke about this, like I don't think there's any non-fitness professional who's seen more gyms than I have, right? So
Right.
I saw all across India, Nepal, Kenya, Dubai, so all these stores were opening, and I was traveling all of these places until one of the co-founders from Keventas, who's my childhood friend since 4th standard, him and his trainers, they were starting out to open this boxing studio.
Okay.
And I sort of didn't have too much interest in boxing, and the gym was supposed to be just boxing and strength for boxers and say a group class. And he asked me for my help because that was my expertise, building out like stores, retail stores until stuff opens. And I was, to be honest, doing this in exchange for lifetime free membership. And somewhere along the line, he said, this is right up your alley. Why don't you invest in this? And I was pretty reluctant, and also it was around COVID, and money was scarce at that time. But I think I should be very grateful to him that he pushed me a lot, and then I sold some of my crypto and then invested it in Knox, and then I joined Knox, and then rest is history.
Nice. Yeah, no, what a journey. I have a bunch of questions. I relate with some of it as well. I remember preparing for CDS around similar times, a couple of years before you, and got screened out first time, got conferenced out next time, and it just felt it's end of world, and now there is no other option left, and I tried and figured out different things. The question I have around your journey is, and I was going to ask the obvious one, how did you continue to maintain your fitness? But you already answered that you did not miss a gym. And so my question becomes even more pertinent. That is, how did you make sure that you were working out regularly? Because one of the things that I see when we speak to people for non-compliance, they say they don't have time. Is it that they're not able to prioritize? Or just they don't have time? Because you were traveling, you did almost everything that a professional would do, would have a high mobility job, traveling all the time,
16,
food issues.
18 hours, yeah.
And these are the reasons that are given, and that's precisely why I asked also this question. How did you manage it?
Priority is number one. Like, you have to prioritize it. And I realized it much later, probably through a podcast like this with somebody else, that the way I looked sort of became a part of my identity. And like everybody wants to have that uniqueness.
Yeah.
And outside in the world, it doesn't matter how good you are in your profession, right? That doesn't come across. But when you walk into the room and you look a certain way, you get a certain kind of respect, because it requires discipline, and not everybody can have that.
True.
So I think keeping that became important for me at a deeper level, because it helped me professionally also. Like, I was doing all this when I was quite young. And initially when I'd walk into a room, there was a meeting that I got into, and the person was trying to look behind, ki assistant aaya hoga, right? Because I was pretty young to have that position. And like I used to have a stubble and all to make myself look older.
Yeah, look older.
But looking a certain way, like, people took me a little bit more seriously, and I think that had a big part to play in why I continued doing it.
So far you were not running.
No.
Correct?
No.
And I think that's where we'll spend time now. You were not running, but you had built the hardware, as you said.
Yeah.
And also you had the discipline that needed, you had the right priority. At what point did you think that you should start running?
So basically, there's a point in time where I got deep into longevity. Like I said, I'm a nerd, so I get driven by data.
Okay.
Longevity caught my eye, and I had a chance to meet Brian Johnson before he blew up also. Like, one of his first meets, which was an invite only, and I was fortunate enough to meet him. So I was deep in it before it became sort of cool. Like, I was mouth taping 3.5, 4 years ago. I have articles from back then to show that I was doing it long back, long before everybody else was doing. I was tracking my sleep on the first Fitbit Ionic or something. I think that was the first Fitbit that allowed you to sleep track. So somewhere along the way, I realized that a lot of my blood work was pretty optimized. My sleep was as much optimized as I could. Because
the responsibilities, travel, everything else.
And then CGM I did, so I figured out what food works for me, what doesn't work for me. So the lowest hanging fruit, like everything else now, required a lot of work or it required a lot of money, right? So lowest hanging fruit was VO2 max.
Yeah.
So I started working on my VO2 max. So I would do Stairmaster, Zone 2, 2 hours a week, like Dr. Peter Attia stuff, right? I would do the Norwegian 4x4. Like I started by 3 I modified it because it's too hard for me already. So I slowly progressed to a 4x4. And I would also do like a Tabata on the assault bike, which was like 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. So to get really high heart rate and recover, so to teach the heart to recover fast.
Sure.
And along this way, while all of this was happening, run clubs were picking up abroad. And since we had a studio and we've always liked to give back to the community in some way. Earlier it was through Animal Flow. It really helps people with mobility and it's a new form of like a way to exercise. We would conduct like public events, which was say 500 to 1,000 rupees, and it was only to make sure that people come, because if the exchange is not there, people sign up and they don't come. We thought this was another way to reach a lot more people, because Knox is expensive because of the kind of coaches we have. So we said we're going to do this, and to be honest, I was the admin guy. I was just making sure it's happening, right? I remember my first run, like I struggled to complete 2 kilometers, and I was like, I'll make sure I'm running with the last person, so that no person gets left behind. So I walked with them, chilled with them, pushed them a little bit, and they're like,
and
thank
you,
thank you so much. I never thought I'd run 2 kilometers. In my heart, I'm like, thank you, I ran 2 kilometers, right? So that started, and somewhere along the way, like I started picking up, reached 5 kilometers, didn't know too much. While my VO2 max was increasing, I was like trying to do like a 5K PB every Saturday along with the run club, and moving to from like a 40 to say like I think a 24 over like 3-4 months. And also like before all of this has happened, like my VO2 max also, because of like the other stuff, not the running stuff, in like about 3.5 months I managed to get it up from like a 38 to 65.
Wow, okay. And how were you measuring it?
I got a test done in one of the centers.
So that's gold standard.
Yes, gold standard. Like. In fact, because of the history I told them, the guys who did the test wanted me to do the test again, because they didn't believe a guy who doesn't run can have a VO2 max of 65. I said, but I do a lot of stuff, like I do indirect training for my heart, right? So this happened, and why I continued running was not because of the run, but because of the community. So what started happening is a lot of like personal training, what I was doing before, or helping people say transform or get out of injury, like pain and stuff. It would take you 3 months, 6 months for somebody to come back and tell you, like, thank you so much. Like, now I see a change. Right? You've been saying it'll happen and this is the process. Whereas in a run, somebody who can't think they can continuously run for like 15 minutes also, they run and say, thank you, you made me do something that I felt was impossible. Right? And started getting that multiple times, like on multiple occasions. Like every weekend somebody would come and say that. And it's really good feeling when you can do something for somebody else. And some of those instances have been life-changing for other people, right, over a period of time. So all that just like kept me going. And I think things really changed when we signed up for a race outside our city, and we went as a group together. The first time we did that was last June. I signed up for a 50 kilometer in Mashobra. And I was the only one who doing a 50 kilometer. Everyone else was doing, I think, a 21 or a 30. And they came, they supported me and stuff. That was pretty nice. And then after that, I think we've traveled at least 10 times since then and now.
Wow. Yeah, before we get to your running journey and how have you performed, the point that you mentioned, people come to you and they say thank you for where you have been a reason for them to get started and continue. It's so empowering and it's just so motivating, even to us, right, when we hear it from others, because while it seems very small, that, hey, we didn't do much, but that's so much as a support for them to continue with it. And I think that's also the beauty of the sport, that it's so inclusive, that people hang on there and they're seeking validation in a very positive way, that hey, this person who's pushing me is pushing me for my own good and I'm able to do it, and they give you the credit, but in a way they are building something that's so sustainable, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's move from you starting to run, you starting to do a 40 minutes 5K to 24 minutes and then getting really fast. When did you do your first marathon, and how was the experience like?
Okay, so before I start this, like to all the viewers, it's a disclaimer that you shouldn't be doing this, and a lot of people also told me I shouldn't be doing this. I did it because I know my body really well, and I've been training for almost 18, 19 years now. And okay, I take back when I said you shouldn't be doing this. Like I always tell everybody that, like, nobody else, don't go and ask anybody that should I do this or should I not. Like if you feel you can do it, do it. But also know there are risks involved, right? So everybody knows their body their best. So you should consider that. But since I had a big base of bodybuilding, my body could support the kind of loads I was putting it through, and also like I covered a little bit about my stint exploring longevity. So that really helped me keep the recovery under check, and my supplementation on point. I would regularly do my blood work and stuff, and so that also helped me a lot. So this run club started somewhere around running and
March
calling
2024.
24.
Yeah.
Calling ourselves a run club.
Okay.
And some people started to join in, and we would just call our friends and my clients. And I mean, it's funny, like after one of these runs, like we just started posting like shirtless photos. And then more boys started to come who also wanted to be a part of that shirtless photo.
Yeah.
And in fact, now somebody's traveling, they come to Delhi and run with us, and it's like, I've come here to be part of the photograph. So that's pretty cool. And it just started out like just like that, because it got hot and we removed our shirt and we took a photograph. So we started here, and as a whole group, we signed up for a 10K in August. So that was my first 10K. And it is sort of a prerequisite to have a 10K before you run the Vedanta Delhi Marathon, which is, I think, the most prestigious half marathon. And anybody who's running in Delhi would want to sign up for that. And you can't do it without this 10K. So we all prepped together as a group. And I remember, because it was a smaller race, like I was just standing at the finish line after my finish, and I was just recording everybody finish, and the whole group came together. It was such a nice feeling. And I think because it was the first race, everybody got PBs, right? So it was just PB after
of course,
PB.
Yeah.
And whoever had run before, but because we were running in a group and we were consistent, even they hit PBs.
Okay.
And I think I hit a 51 or 52 minutes. And people like, you just started running. I'm like, I know, I mean, this is great, like people train a lot to get that 50-minute 10K. And then October is when the first half marathon that I did, and I managed to get a 145.
Nice.
And 145 was just a number that I had in my mind, and I didn't know how I was going to get it, how I was going to train for it. And I'm like, shit, I should have thought for 140, Ki jo socha wo ho gaya.
Yeah.
Right? So that happened. I was really happy. And right after VDHM, I took a trip to Sri Lanka with my wife to take some time off, and we've been training a lot. And till now, I still hadn't figured out how to manage running and strength training, because I was continuing strength training like I used to strength train before.
Sure.
But I just added running on top. So like
more stress.
I didn't take out anything from it. And there I was reading a book by Rich Roll, Finding Ultra or Chasing Ultra. And I got really inspired by that book. And I can picture in my head, because I was staying at this hotel which was by the sea. So I'm down, and I went up, got my laptop down, opened up my laptop, searching for
ultra races.
So I was like, August mein mera birthday hai, and August mein I was going to turn 35. So let me look for an ultra. And there was this Hell Race Ultra that was going to happen, and they hadn't announced what is the race, there was just August Ultra. I was like, I'm going to do this one. I did not know what it was. I'm like, I just decided I'm going to do this one.
10 months later, that is.
Yeah, that's 10 months later. And then we came back, and we all decided, we signed up for the London Marathon virtual.
Okay.
And we were like, yeah, you have to complete this in 24 hours. Right? We'll be able to do it like splitting into 2 or walking it or whatever. We'll finish it in 24 hours. Like, itta to hum kar lenge. So we signed up. So it was the 3 of us who signed up for this.
Okay.
Now, suddenly now, 42 is, in your head, you can do it, right? And then we were like, the New Delhi Marathon sign-ups open. So we were like, let's sign up for that. And then most people told me that like it's too soon for you to do like a marathon. And I really don't like somebody telling me you can do this or you can't do this. And आई एम लाइक अगर यही नहीं कर सकते तो उससे पहले टाटा बॉम्बे मैराथन आ रहा है वही कर लेते हैं. If I'm going like and just going to wing it, so might as well just do the Tata Bombay Marathon. And I was fortunate enough to arrange a bib and stuff at the last moment, and I just told my friends I'm doing Tata Bombay Marathon, and they were like, I mean, it's just in 2 weeks, right? You've come back from Sri Lanka after 2 weeks, and then like it was Christmas, and I hadn't really prepped for it. And I was like, it's fine if I don't finish it, I'll just like step off. Like for me, it was never about chasing a certain time because if I've not prepped for it, and like a goal of a 4 hour is, okay, I can wish for it, but if I feel bad about ki 4 hours nahi hua, like I'm stupid, right? Because I've not trained for it.
It's unrealistic.
I've not ran at a 5 pace or a 6 pace for this much time. How can I do it for 42 kilometers? So that happened, and I did the Tata Bombay Marathon. It was sort of a painful one because I hadn't trained much for it, didn't understand a lot about running that time. I got Alpha Fly shoes to
everything right you would
to not run so fast in plated shoes, and obviously the load management also wasn't right, and I felt like a strain in my Achilles at around 15 kilometers, and I pushed through. And I remember at around the 21 kilometers we were in line to do like 4 hours we were going to do it.
Okay.
But at 23 kilometers, the pain was so bad that I sat down. Like it must have been 15-20 seconds only where I sat down because I kept stopping to stretch, and this time I was stretching, I sat down. But it felt like 5-10 minutes because I was contemplating to finish it or not because I was in so much pain, and like there was slight pain in my Achilles, but my whole hamstring, my whole left side was cramping. And I hadn't figured out my electrolytes and all of that. I just knew about
nutrition.
No,
nothing.
So gels and all I knew, right? Because I was obviously doing bodybuilding the right way. I would have my carbs and stuff before my heavy leg workout and all of that. So I had that understanding of carbs and nutrition, and I was. But electrolytes is something that I went with the benchmark of say a gram, 700 to a gram per hour of exercise over an hour. Yeah, but that wasn't enough for me. I learned later. And when I sat down and I had to take a call, should I call it off? And at that time, the adrenaline is so much. And then, those feelings, like I get goosebumps thinking about it. And I clearly remember there was a McDonald's, like diagonally opposite, like 100 meters. I'm like, wahan jaake ice cream kha ke wahin baith jata hu. And I don't know if it was open or not, I don't know. But that's a thought that came to my mind. And I always remember that McDonald's. And then, like an older gentleman started passing me by, and he recognized me from Instagram, but he was my dad's colleague.
Okay.
And he's like, "Ki beta kya chal?" Okay. And now I'm like, "वो बुला रहे हैं, मैं चल लेता हूँ." So I started going with him, right? And then he's like, मेरी हालत खराब है, वो घड़ी दिखा रहे हैं, उनकी heart rate मतलब 190 चल रही है. And I'm like, ये सब मत देखो, आप अब भागो. And I started sort of supporting him. So then we kept pushing each other for a bit, and I said, आप जाओ, अब मैं रुक रहा हूँ. Like, नहीं, अब तूने मुझे तब भगाया, अब मैं तेरे को भगाऊंगा.
वो 2 किलोमीटर वाली स्टोरी हो गई ना.
हाँ. So this kept going until Pedder. So I told him, see, my hamstring is cramping. Now if I don't walk, I'll get injured or something. I have a feeling, आप जाओ, I'll catch up to you. And then I did end up catching up with him. And I still managed like I think 405 or 406, which was still pretty good. But it was an eventful marathon,
experience.
And it felt a lot longer than 4 hours for me. And I sort of felt, not defeated is not the right word, but like very close to that. And then I went back, then I took some time off. And by the way, New Delhi Marathon was in just 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Out of that, 2 weeks I took off, and then I slowly started running. And then people were like, are you running the New Delhi Marathon? And I think most of the gang was still doing the half marathon again. I think it was just me and Ishan, my co-founder at Knox, who were doing the full marathon. And he was training with a coach, and that's why he decided just to do the half in Tata Bombay Marathon, because he had the right guidance at that time. And so then I think 2 weeks out, I said I'm going to go for a 35-kilometer run. And if I manage to do it with breaks and stuff, then I'll run the New Delhi Marathon. Otherwise, I'm going to sit out of it. I'm not going to do the rest. And that day, I was just running errand. Like first, I ran with the run club, I think 15 kilometers, because everybody was prepping for the 21K. So it was a long run. From there, one of my friends, so this is Lodi,
Yeah.
So from there, one of my friends had got me an iPhone from the US. So it was at his house. So from there,
So
I
you
went to
went to
Vasant Vihar. So now I'm like, where do I run around with this phone? So my wife was working nearby, 3 kilometers. So then went, dropped the phone. Then I called my friend because he had my credit card, because I said, you take my card so that I don't have to pay you and this and that later. So he was in Ashoka Hotel. There's a gym there. So I ran there.
Whole Delhi darshan.
Whole Delhi darshan ho gaya. And then I did my 35 kilometers and I was pretty okay. And I said, chalo, I'll do it. And next run, like I took a deload, just did like 20 odd kilometers. I didn't even do speed work and all because I didn't want to aggravate my Achilles that time. And I always say, on race day, I don't know what happens to me. I'm like a different person.
Okay.
The only thing is I rest well, recover well. Like even if I have to wake up at 1 a.m., I will sleep my 8 hours. So I'll go to bed at 3 p.m. So I'm really good at winding down when I want to wind down. Again, because of the phase of longevity, I know I've created a routine which helps me sleep, and I just need to change the time of the routine and my body just falls asleep. And I managed to get a 340 in this marathon.
Okay.
So I was pretty happy for somebody who just did his first half marathon like just whatever 2.5 months back. And this just gave me a confidence of, I mean, you can do this. Maybe you were built to do this. Yeah. And one of my clients always told me, by the way I trained, because I did a lot of mobility, a lot of lower body, a lot of single leg stuff. He's like, you don't know yet, but you've been training all your life to run. You're finally running.
True.
And I didn't know this, and I understand this now why he said that.
Yeah, these are the exact exercises that are told to runners to focus on.
Yeah, I would do a lot of leg raises and stuff, my hip flexors and stuff. So this was Feb. And then
last year.
Yeah, Feb last year.
So did you get on a coaching program, or did you start to make a plan? Okay.
Not yet. So now what happened was, now the next race was in April, the TCS 10K.
So you had quite a lineup.
Yeah. So TCS 10K happened, and we did not know that the TCS 10K and the London Marathon happened on the same day. Yes. We didn't know that.
Right, okay.
So 3 of us ran a 10K PB. And then we went on the tracks, the Kantirva Stadium, because we don't want to run on the road because we can create our own aid station. Yeah. And we ran a marathon like after the 10K on the tracks in that heat.
Insane.
So we did that.
What was your 10K timing?
It was 46 in this one.
So from 51 you got to 46.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In preparation to VTHM, I got a 47 already.
Okay.
So I got this 46 here, and then I did this stupid, I mean, it's fun now. I mean, when we look back, the stadium run, self-supported stadium run.
My goodness, it must have been so hard. I think of it doing a marathon just self-supported and
but the good thing is
heat.
People would keep coming and visiting us to cheer. Like it was an empty stadium, 3 people sitting there and cheering for us. Got videos from that day. Shout out to everybody who came that day. It was like it was a good pick me up.
Awesome.
So April this happened. I'm missing some races, but I'm just telling you the key ones. And then 42 कर लिया तो 50 क्या होगा, right? 50 तो कर ही लेंगे. Not knowing what elevations are and all of this.
What weather conditions and everything else.
Weather conditions are good in Mashobra. So
okay, yeah,
June we did that.
Yeah. Thinking of Rajasthan, so
that happened in December. So this so Mashobra was also fun.
Right.
The views were good. The weather was so nice. It was the first time we traveled together, and I remember clearly, like we went down to collect our bibs, and it was really hard for the car to go down. And we asked कि यार रेस कहाँ से शुरू करें, यहीं से शुरू हो रही है, जाओ मैं कहा तो गाड़ी नहीं उतर रही थी वहाँ से, हम कैसे चढ़ेंगे. So then my friends are like, कहाँ से आना है? तो like ये तो बहुत स्टीव है, कहा वहीं से आना है, गाड़ी नीचे पार्किंग है और कल यहीं भागना है, कि यहाँ भागना है. None of us had an idea, and I was like, मेरे को ये 2 बार ही करना है, because the 50K was like 20K out, and then 5K out and back.
Okay.
So I managed to do that. तो कोई रुका नहीं मेरे लिए. When I came for the 40 mark, like they were all having their beers and stuff, and then once they met me, and then they left. So I was like, कोई मेरे साथ नहीं देगा, 2 किलोमीटर साथ दे दो, कहते इस 2 किलोमीटर के नहीं देंगे, ऊपर आ जाएंगे, it was that brutal. Yeah. So that was my first ultra, and I realized at heart, like, I really love ultras because you get to meet a lot of people, like in races and stuff. You're like, you're gunning for it, you're racing for it.
Yeah.
You can't even talk to somebody, right? Because you're racing it.
Yeah.
So you meet so many people. It's खाते पीते मतलब निकल जाता है. The moment, and this is the first time it became okay to walk in a race.
Yeah.
Right? Suddenly, like, running had a different dimension to it.
True.
So this happened, and then Hyroxes started to happen.
Yeah.
So then I signed up for a Hyrox, I think.
Bombay.
Yeah, May. So I'd
Yeah.
already done a Hyrox
Okay.
and Mashobra. So I was already quite fatigued. So one smart thing that I did was instead of increasing my mileage on foot, I started doing a lot of Stairmaster because I was
Okay.
already doing Stairmaster. So I remember be able to do, say, a 50 kilometer. I'm okay. Like, that
Sure.
gave me the confidence,
Sure.
actually. So I do a lot of cross training. Like, if you compare my mileage to my buddies, it's, I would say, half or like 60% of what they do. But I do a lot more cross training. Also because it allows me to stack my work with it. Because on a Stairmaster, on a spin cycle,
Yeah.
I can take my calls, do my emails and stuff. While running, you can't do all of that. At least I can't do it right now.
Yeah.
Maybe possibly in some time I'll start doing that when runs becomes easier. And then the August race. So the August race gets announced. It's a 30, 60 and 120.
Okay.
And I was like, यार 100 होता तो 100 करते birthday के लिए, but ये 120 तो ज़्यादा है. So I texted them कि 100 नहीं है, कहता आप 120 करके DNF हो जाओ. मैंने कहा ये थोड़ा ठीक नहीं लग रहा है,
ये
because
अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है.
अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है.
Yeah.
मतलब रास्ते में ऐसे कैसे रुक जाओ, जितना होता है आप कर लो. Then bunch of us, most people again signed up for the 30, and me, I think 4 of us signed up for the 60K.
Okay.
And then the dates got released, and the 60K and the 30K were 2 different dates.
Okay.
And sort of the community started feeling bad कि यार हमने तो सोचा था we'll go run together, and that's not happening. It's on a separate day. And this is the first time, like, because of the run club, I felt like a part of a team.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I had never played a sport, right? Like, running, people think it's individual, but like, I think it's a team sport.
Yep.
Right? All these guys felt like a team. So I was like, koi nahi, I'll do the 60 and I'll do the 30 with you guys also. So I'll do 60 and I'll do 30.
I was hoping you would say नहीं मैं 60 छोड़ देता हूँ सिर्फ 30 भागूंगा.
No, I'm not gonna back out on what I said. So I have to do what I decided to do. And I was like, चल ठीक है now.
कोई नहीं 30
और कर लेंगे. But first 15 kilometers of the 30 was probably the hardest run I've ever done, because the kind of fatigue that builds up after like a 60K with a lot of elevation and not a lot of sleep also. And I mean, I was a little stupid also, thinking I woke up and I was like, no matter how much I stretch and warm up, कुछ होगा नहीं, मतलब जो मेरी हालत है. So I could have spent more time warming up and cooling down, but I chose to sleep a little longer than to spend that time like doing my warm up and stuff. So वो हो गया, and the 60 became a 64 by the time it got over, and the 30 also became a 32. And 32 mein, when we were at the 10 kilometer, we were sort of going to DNF. But at around 15-16 kilometer mark, this is the first time I've heard a lot from people, the second wind, wo aaya. And then like I was running at a 6:30 pace in an ultra.
Wow.
And I was just thinking about, I see that guy I have to cross. I didn't let any one guy cross.
Okay.
I must have crossed like 40-50 people. Must have crossed. And I was so far back that I was crossing people, and they're like, yeah, आप तो 120 वाले लग रहे हो, but वो तो race कल थी, because the way I look, right? But because I was so back.
Yeah.
But I managed to finish the race, and ये भी 32-33 हो गया था. तो I told my friends, यार 100 के लिए 6 बचे.
तो वो भी कर लेते.
So we did 100 like for my birthday. It was like 2 days out from my birthday. And then a bunch of people, so me and a friend of mine, Kunal, so even he did the 100 with me. So he's always sort of like been there to do the races that I've been doing. So that also always gave me a confidence कि हाँ एक साथी है साथ में. Like even if you're not running together, he's part of the same run. Like we'll always start out together. कभी वो आगे मैं आगे जो भी है, but he's there. कोई है जो कर रहा है. हाँ. So August happened. It was pretty cool, and I should have taken like a long deload there, but I didn't, because I was in like the runner's high. I can do this, and I've come back, and you're running a run club, and you have to show up.
Yeah.
Like now I know I can show up and not run also. But वो तब मैंने किया नहीं, तब नहीं किया, and I know I was running funny I had developed some kind of calf strain from like the
So many of
overloading,
these,
like the back-to-back runs that I did. But I still kept pushing, and that's a problem I see with a lot of disciplined people. You sort of use discipline to overcome things that you're not supposed to overcome as well.
Yeah.
So I think that happened with me. And I'd already booked every year. I try and take 2 to 3 weeks. I'd like to take a month off. I mean, alone, like a solo trip. But my wife would kill me if I go away for a month. So I went to London. My brother used to live there. My plan was to just go there and run. And after the Mashobra one, I had a coach. So we were training for a 10K and then the 21K for VDHM.
Okay.
Again. So there I did, I knew my calf, there was something wrong with my calf. Every time I ran, I mean, it was shin splints. Sign थे कि you start running, उसके बाद ठीक हो जाता था, so you ran.
Yeah, it will warm up and then.
So every day I would sit in the morning, foam roll my calf, go for the run, come back, foam roll my calf. रोज वही कर रहा था. And because I was like, मैं लंदन भागने ही आया था, भागूंगा नहीं तो करूँगा क्या, और कुछ कर नहीं सकता. So, and the weather was so good. Your heart rates are 10 points lower. Your easy recovery becomes like 5 paces and stuff like that. And it was just incredible. And running culture is like, they're like 10 years ahead of us.
True.
Right? So when I went, like, you can go to different parks and you can figure out कि यहाँ पे लोग तेज भागते हैं. So Battersea Park, like everybody's running fast. Like I'm running at a 4:30 pace, but I still seem slower than everybody. So it was just the vibe, and I kept going. And because I was there for 3 weeks, so I signed up for a 10K race, like a neighborhood race, which wasn't even like a PB course. It had like 23 turns. It was within like a neighborhood. I was training for a sub 45, but I got a 43 there. So I was really happy with that. And again, should have taken 2 weeks off. I didn't take 2 weeks off. Then along this way, I sort of became an ambassador of Puma as well. So Puma was having a race just 2 weeks out from 1 week out from VDHM.
Okay.
And there was a 5K and a 10K, and I did a 20-minute 5K there. And,
in Delhi?
In Delhi, Dwarka. And that was the hardest run I've ever done. Like at 3.5, 3.7 kilometers, I remember my pace came down to like a 6:30 because I wanted to stop. Because I started out too fast because there's so much crowd. So zigzagging, I saw I was averaging a 3:30 by the first 500 meters, and I slowed down, but my heart rate had already shot up.
Yeah.
And funny that the start line, there are like those two like posters. So one had PV Sindhu on it and one had me on it.
Okay.
So when I was slowing down, I was like, Joel, yahan nahi rukna, poster lag raha hai. So then I picked up, and then I managed like a 20-minute 8 seconds. And I was like, वो 8 seconds वहीं के गए. But ठीक है. So I was still happy, and I'm in my peak of my fitness. And I know something's wrong with my calf. And I have, in 1 week, I have the VDHM. And I was like, नहीं करेंगे. And I think just 3 days out, I decided, मैं नहीं करूँगा.
Okay.
Because I can't keep trying my luck so much. While I was doing rehab physio in London, I showed somebody, they said कि अभी it's not that serious, but if you keep pushing it, सबने कहा कि जो आप intensity कर रहे हो, आप उस intensity पे करो, आप push मत करो. और मैंने सिर्फ push ही किया. ठीक है, so उन्होंने कहा था push मत करो. And then
and you had been pushing from the very start.
August, yeah. I was started pushing when I was in London. So basically September onwards started pushing. करना क्या था, August के बाद 2 हफ्ते break लेना था बस. ये सब कुछ होता ही नहीं basically. And then I realized ये stress fracture ही हो जाएगा. So let me not push the 21K. And because if I went for a 21K, we were aiming for like a sub 140. So that would have been hard. And I purposely, but I still reached the start line like to help my crew warm up. We do that, like I do that before every race. Some people are sad like you're not running so you won't come. And I'm like नहीं मैं आ रहा हूँ. So मैं purposely कुछ bag नहीं कुछ नहीं लाया. और नहीं बैग पहन के आया था सॉरी कि मैं भागने ना चले जाऊँ गलती से because I had my bib and everything. वहाँ पे भी what I did was I didn't race it, but there were some people who's like कि हम ना 2 hours करने वाले हैं
कि चलो पेस कर दो.
तो मैं तो 10 so bib था उसके पीछे से मैंने टाइमिंग चेप हटा दिया because I didn't want to get disqualified or something. Because I knew मैं पूरा नहीं करूँगा. I said चलो मैं तुमको पहले 5-7 किलोमीटर पेस करा दूंगा. तो once you pace well, उसके बाद you will be able to manage to get your like एक को 215 करना था, मतलब it was very quite slow.
Yeah.
Because slow में I had no pain. Like मैं ये कर लेता हूँ. And then रोड पे कहते तू तो भाग नहीं रहा था, मैं नहीं भाग रहा मैं. तो so I like paced them for 10 kilometers and I came back, and then I was waiting for my crew, and while they were finishing the last kilometer I was cheering for them, and it was still a good experience and all. So वहाँ उसके बाद से I started taking my rehab really seriously, because the main reason why I dropped out of this race was December में I had to run the 100K that we had signed up for, and again it was three of us from the run club and 2 more people that we knew were doing the 100K. Rest everybody was doing the 50K.
Okay.
So like I said, slow running it wasn't hurting, so I reduced my mileage and I started slow running, started doing more cross training, more stairmaster to get more time on my foot without the impact. And then I was working with physios and getting regular massages, and understood why the problem was. The whole problem was coming from a left glute being weak and one side getting more impacted.
How did you find that out?
With the help of the physio.
Okay.
मतलब when the physio saw me, उसने exercise दिए and we started doing the exercise. I couldn't do those also. वो सारा hamstring पे आ रहा था, because my hamstring is so strong. Like I can do about 50 odd Nordics in 10 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
Right, so they're so strong that the moment I start to go do some exercise,
it was taking
the hamstring would take the load because of muscle memory. And classic sign है, outer quad starts to get, like after races, outer quads are sore. That means glute काम नहीं कर रहा है, वो quad load ले रहा है. So signs are always there, but when you look back, then you start understanding ये क्यों हो रहा था.
Yeah, in the hindsight, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the first time I started taking mobility very seriously, and I told my coach, यार, like I'll do it on my own because I understand my body. And then if a coach is telling me something, मैं blindly करता हूँ.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I under-report pain and all also, ताकि I'm sticking to the plan and that kind of stuff. So I said, now I'm on my own. I'll figure this out, and then I'll reach out to you whenever I need help. When I need help. So again, मतलब इतनी कोई खास training नहीं करी थी. We did a couple of long runs in undulated surfaces, rolling elevations and stuff.
Okay.
So I think first I did a 2-hour run, then I did a 3-hour run, then I did a 4-hour run, then I did a 42 run, and then I think we just did a 10-15 over the weekend and smaller runs during the week. That was the progression, and we did the 100K in Jaisalmer. I managed to do it under 14 hours. So that was the goal. Also, उस time वो Indigo के flights cancel हो गए थे.
Yeah.
So I took off the same morning, like border starts at 12 o'clock. पहले I was cursing कि अब दोपहर को 12 बजे race start करते इतनी गर्मी में. But I took a morning flight and reached Jaisalmer at like 10:30. And the same day I ran. So I was like, मेरे को समझ नहीं आ रहा था दिन कौन सा है, कब से शुरू हुआ है. मतलब सुबह दिल्ली में था, अभी रात को 100 किलोमीटर भाग चुका हूँ, you know. So it was the 100K was quite an experience, and the camaraderie also really showed. Like everybody who did a 50K obviously ran much faster,
right?
Because they just had 50 and we paced ourselves. And 50K bhag ke bhi, or once you stop, your body is dead, right? So all of them came to the 60K mark, which was our pit stop, and crew सिर्फ वहीं allowed था. Throughout the run, it was a self-supported race with 8 stations, obviously every 10 kilometers. So the crew was waiting for us after they had finished the run. They laid out our clothes, our food and everything. We just had to massage किया उन्होंने. Like it was so good. Like मतलब मेरे लिए भी बड़ा मुश्किल होता अपनी रेस खत्म करके अब 10 किलोमीटर आगे जाके किसी के लिए वेट करो. And they waited for multiple people.
Yeah.
So by the time
Being
the last person come, तो मतलब they spent an hour and a half there, and then they went back 60 kilometers in a tempo. ऐसी कोई तेज गाड़ी भी नहीं थी. It took them time, and then we did 100 kilometers, and some of them came back.
My goodness.
To help us finish. So like it was harder on their bodies with the 50K guys than it was in the 100K. Totally. And seeing that stuff is what keeps you going. Like I think running is not about the run. Like it's everything around it. Yeah. And that's what keeps me going.
Such a great journey, but at the same time, such a great journey together. Right?
Yeah,
and
correct.
That just makes it so wholesome and so complete, because along the way, as well as people are supporting you, they have also seen you being a part of their journeys in one way or another. Some get inspired seeing the distance you're covering, some want to give back, and such is the sport of running. Like, that's why I guess possibly it's called as mother of all sport. It humbles you.
Yeah.
You feel victorious all at the same time. And I think from the template that you have had, I would not take
Advice.
I would not take a lot of it for the beginners, and
Correct.
they should know that you're not a beginner.
Correct.
You've been preparing for 18 years
Yes.
to get to
yes,
the start line.
yes. And the knowledge of nutrition
Exactly.
and stuff that I had like early on, like from my first races, I knew how much carbs I need to have. So I'm not depleted. Like I remember before my first half marathon, for about 15 runs, I put a blood glucose monitor on, and I had gels to figure out if I'm over-fueling or under-fueling and at what paces, because at different paces, my carb requirements would go up and down. So I would see that data, and that data works for me. That data might not work for you. When you work with your coach also, he doesn't have a magic formula.
True.
He will say, we start with this and how you feel. Like he'll help you experiment.
Yeah.
So all of that, and I think most runners, where they go wrong is like everybody needs to get up at 5 o'clock to run, especially in Bombay, Delhi, where like India actually, where the weather's not on our side, but they don't sleep. And if you're not sleeping, it's a recipe for disaster. So I tell everybody, अगर आप नहीं सो रहे हो, आप मत भागो. आप मत भागो. It's not for health that you're doing. Change your speed run to an easy run. Like, don't push yourself if you've not slept.
Yeah, I totally agree. And if I've been in flights, I've not slept, I'll skip the run next day. You're not becoming a hero by just getting another run in. It's better to just sleep and recover, and then you possibly have a better super compensation instead of just continuing to push. Otherwise, you get to a stage you can't possibly reverse.
And it's not necessary to, like, if you're doing a weekly mileage of say 40 kilometers or say 50 kilometers, if you have to miss a run, it doesn't mean you increase the mileage in the next run.
Yeah, I agree.
And a lot of people make that mistake कि आज नहीं किया तो मैं कल कर लूँगा.
दोनों मिला के कर लेता हूँ.
हाँ, या मैं मतलब बाकी 3 दिन बचे हफ्ते के, तो 3 दिन में कर लेता हूँ. But that missed run can possibly save you.
Yeah, just miss it. Honestly, just miss it and go with the next workout. Now, so this was just last December, you said.
Yeah, उसके बाद भी बहुत कुछ किया.
I'm coming to it because it's already quite a lifetime. It seems.
Yeah, just the highlight would be I did like a 42-minute 10K in the Navy, which we were talking about. It was very well organized. And then after that gave me the confidence. Like, I did not go for a PB. I just switched my watch on the other side. And I'm like, I'll go effort based and I'll see how my calf feels. Like, my first kilometer was like almost a 5 pace, right? And I dropped down considerably because I was just going effort based. So the idea was not a PB, but I still got a PB. And that gave me the confidence. And the New Delhi marathon, I did the half marathon where most of my crew was doing the marathon we were prepping for. I did a 135, 136 half marathon. Yeah,
and I think if I take a few points from here, while you had been pushing, it's pretty relative, right? You had been pushing because you had large base. You were very well trained. And so as soon as you maybe deloaded a bit, it started to see the impact. Like you said, the first kilometer, that I think is most important for me. Instead of going at 3:30 pace, you went at 5 pace, and that just helps. You start to figure out how your body is feeling, and then it helps you push later when you're going just totally on the basis of effort. And I think when we think of beginners or other runners who want to get inspired based on your story, and they'll be like, yeah, इस birthday मैं भी 100 करूँगा, possibly not, and so I think we should spend some time there and just talk about if a beginner or someone who's inspired through this conversation wants to take up running, wants to be at it for the long term, how should they approach their training? What would you suggest?
I would suggest take it as slow as possible, because the reality is, like, I may never be able to hit a 115 half marathon, right? There will come a ceiling. So ceiling में जल्दी पहुँच के क्या मिलेगा मेरे को, right? And think about, like, when you're not running and you're training, you're still training for running.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people, like, I want to keep running so I get better at running. but only that is not going to help you. So strength training becomes very important, because if you don't have the strength, there will come a time where what happens is your cardio health improves way faster than your muscle adaptations can happen. And that's why I said, like, without running, I was able to get my VO2 max up, right? So it had no relationship with my running. So now, like, you have the ability to run at a 4 pace, but your body cannot.
Yeah.
Now you keep pushing and you keep trying, right? So what happens is you get injured, right? So you want to balance that out with the right amount of strength training, and sort of keep the strength training away from the hard runs as a beginner. Like, as you become intermediate and advanced, you can make hard days harder and easy days easier to balance the load out. But as a beginner, just keep them away from each other, so you have the adaptations from both, and the body doesn't, like, the body should know what it's trying to build.
Yeah.
And another thing for beginners is progress is never linear, so neither should your training be. So if you don't have a coach, and if you don't know how to program stuff, you're using ChatGPT, Strava, or anything else, just make sure every 3 to 4 weeks you're taking a deload week. Right? A deload week doesn't mean you're not running. It doesn't mean you're running half the speed or whatever. It just means if your long run was 15 kilometers, you make it 13 kilometers. You take a step back. So if you're going 10, 12, 13, you come back to, say, 10, then go back to 13, 15, come back to 13. So you basically go this way. Same thing with intervals. If you're doing a 200-meter interval, or say a 400-meter interval, you are doing 6 reps, then 8 reps, then 10 reps. Come down to a 6 rep.
True.
And then keep increasing like that, or increase the distances. So every 3 weeks or 4 weeks, depending upon how you're feeling, just take a deload.
Yeah.
So I think those are good tips for beginners.
I think it makes a lot of sense, and particularly as you started to talk about cardiovascular fitness preceding musculoskeletal fitness, that's so important, because when we don't realize, even if we take a long break and you restart, you start to feel cardiovascularly a lot better, and you think you can push, but you'll start to see these Achilles tendinitis, you'll see shin pain, these niggles starting to happen. Those are also signs that the impact is more, and just slow down a little, just deload a little, let your body adapt, and over a period of time you'll figure out. In the start, honestly, everything feels very hard, and so you will not know how hard you are going. So possibly a better way also of doing it is just stay with it for a longer period of time. You will see when your body says now you can push a little more or not.
Yeah, and never run in pain.
Yeah.
Like with me also, through my journey, somewhere along the line, I got this in my head, like, pain is part of an athlete's journey. It's not. It's not supposed to be.
No.
The moment you have pain, little pain, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, you deload, or you find a pace where it's not hurting you and you stick to that. Because if you don't, that, like I said, वो 2 weeks break लेना था August में, which became like a 3-month deload. I mean, you'll have to pay for it. So just take it easy, and a lot of times, like, before races and in the run club, we'll do pogo hops, and then we do single leg pogo hops, and I tell them, if this is hurting you, reconsider your race.
Yeah, no, true, and good way to test.
Yeah.
Maybe I should try before my next run. Awesome. Look, I wish you a great training journey ahead. I hope you don't do a 200 kilometer this
next year.
Achha, okay. Pata laga next birthday pe you'll be like, Vikas, abhi I think 200 to chalega. Good luck with it. You're doing a fab job also. I've seen some of your social media content. Very positive, very non-controversial, just staying with it, enjoying, very inclusive, makes so much sense. Keep doing what you're doing. Last point I will have is to ask around run clubs. Running culture is growing exponentially in the country, and it's fantastic. People are getting out, better habits being formed. But at the same time, it will lead to the beginner-related issues. I remember last Sunday, one of the run clubs I was part of, most of the people had come from a party, and they had come there directly to run. Didn't sound very advisable for them to run, but they were running, which is fine if they wanted to. But what would you suggest? When you are in the community, you want to push. When you are in the community, you want to be a part of it, possibly because there may be a sense of FOMO, or you don't want to miss out, etc. How do you still make sure that you don't push?
This has to be led by the run club leaders,
Yeah.
and it's just not 1 or 2 people. It's usually like a core of 5-10 people, and they have to lead by example.
Yeah.
Like they have to show up on time. They have to, like, in conversation bring up that they sleep well, their nutrition is on point. And see, people will come. Maybe they don't sleep. They were having a party last night. But how do we know that, them coming like this is just temporary, and it's going to be like in the next 6 months, that's going to be a transformed person who's not drinking at all because he wants to run. Because FOMO se bhi aa rahe hain to aa to rahe hain,
Aa to rahe hain, yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
1,000 people who come, 100 will stay back.
Yeah.
But versus earlier it was 1 or 2, right?
True.
So I think run clubs have done a great job to get a lot more people into running. A lot of people I see who've come to our run club and then they're still running on their own.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not like mere saath hi bhago, right? What we're trying to do is facilitate runners. Maybe it wasn't feasible for them to come from far, and initially for FOMO they came with us.
Yeah.
But they're running regularly. So I think run clubs have gotten a lot of people into running.
Yeah.
And the right kind of leaders, the right kind of coaches will only make the beginners feel more confident and consistent with what the right thing to do is, and they should follow that.
Awesome. No, and I think that's a great perspective as well, because as you said, भले ही पार्टी के बाद आ रहे हैं, but आ तो रहे हैं, and that means they still prioritized it. They still wanted to come, and that itself is a great start, because one of the big reasons of non-compliance is not turning up. And since they have started, there'll be a day that the party will get deprioritized. And
or maybe they'll start partying on Wednesday because
I know, but
Saturdays run club day.
Strength training and running.
Yeah.
So makes a lot of sense. Fantastic conversation today, and good luck with everything. And
Thank you
we'll
so
stay in
much.
touch, and maybe not in the 200-kilometer one, but half marathon या marathon में मिलेंगे.
Done. Or whatever race you organize.
Yeah, for sure. Welcome to any of our races as we progress. But thank you again for coming.
My pleasure.
That was all for today. I hope you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed speaking with Joel. If there is feedback, do let us know, and we'll be very happy to incorporate. Keep running, and we'll be with you next week again.